I just finished training for 2 hours Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's sales team at mastermind.com. 15 of the top 1% closers in the world. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I taught them, including the 3 levels of pain and the 4 different levels of identity that you must master in order to close at a high level and get less objections. My name is Patrick Jones, and I've closed $25 million in sales, and I've earned over $2 million in commissions in high-ticket sales. And I also made multiple $100,000 months in commissions, not just once, but multiple times. And I created this channel to spill the beans, to share with you everything I know about sales, about identity, mindset, psychology, so you can do the same. Now, pay attention, get a pen and paper, take some notes, and apply everything that I share, these nuggets that you can apply to increase your close rate now. Which is a lot of amazing, beautiful human beings here. Curious, we got more people coming in, what is your role? If you are a closer, a salesperson, raise your hand. Just get an idea. Other role, like maybe you're a team leader in some capacity. Okay, cool. Setters, anyone that sets appointments? My name is Patrick. I'm excited that you're here. My biggest gift is turning a circle into a square. Huh? What? Circle into a square. Right? Actually giving the keys to the person, to the salesperson, to turn themselves from a circle into a square. What? It's like, what the hell? Yeah. If you can turn yourself and transform you from a circle to a square, guess what happens with the prospect? You can turn them into a circle and a square. Because that's our job, isn't it, in sales? It's transformation. It's a transformation call. Y'all know what I'm talking about? The moment this clicked for me years ago, I stopped selling from the script and selling from self, selling from transformation. So we're going to have a transformational conversation today. You guys down for that? Put your hand on the camera if you're down for that. Put your hand on the camera. There we go. Let's get some movement. So I'm going to ask a question. This is the only question that matters. Only question that matters. And by the way, I'm just going to pre-frame here for a second. All in 2 hours a day. All in 2 hours. So I want to make sure that all of you are rapidly present. Now, presence means no slack, phone's on airplane mode. Why? Because some of you in this 2 hours are going to double the amount of money you make in the next 7 days from being present and participating. Some of you, not all of you, but some of you. How do I know that? Because I do these trainings every week, and when you actually are present and you actually activate and do the things inside these sessions, people make a shit ton more money in the next hour, in the next month, in the next week. I see it all the time. So this is a game of presence, a game of absolute presence. So can I count on everyone to be in their best presence possible in this moment for the next 2 hours? All in here, yes? Okay, cool. And it's for you so you can make more money. Yeah. So that's my only rule, is be present, be here, and then be engaged. Can I count on you to be engaged? Yes? Okay? Can I count on you to be all in and allow me to coach you so we can get what you want faster? Yes? Okay, cool, easy. All right, we're all game here. Are you open to doing things outside your comfort zone so you can make more money? Raise your hand, yes. Okay, because whatever's comfortable is exactly why we are where we are. So it's about getting uncomfortable. This is about getting uncomfortable. Okay, now we can roll. So, in this moment, why are you here? I want you to get in touch for a moment. Why are you in sales? We got some people in the waiting room. Thank you, Daniel. All right, thank you. Let's go back over here. Let's check this out. Yeah, so the question becomes, why are you in sales? Why are you in sales? Think about that for a second. Why the fuck are you in sales? Why are you in sales? Why are you in sales? Why are you actually selling? Why is this? Why are we here? Right? We got to get in touch with that first. Because the most important question to ask a prospect is what? Why are you here? First question to ask a prospect. Why are you here? Why'd you show up today? Why are you here? Why'd you show up today? Why are you here? Why you show up today? So if we are not in alignment to what we ask our prospect, we're going to feel weird. We're going to start being incongruent and not in integrity with ourselves because we're not asking ourselves the same questions we ask prospects. You guys know what I'm saying? You guys know what I'm talking about? So we're going to start right here because everything in your internal world reflects your outside results. So everything internally of who you be is how you show up. Here, everything. We project everything internally onto our prospects. Yeah. See it all the time. I'm auditing a call. And they're projecting their thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors on the prospect. No wonder why they got objections. Fuck. You caused and created them. Yeah, it was you. It was me. It wasn't the actual objection handling. It was you. So we're going to get deep today and we're going to unpack some stuff so that you become objectionless. Oh, wow. Okay, how's that happen? Well, you got to master yourself first. You are the cause of objections. So, by the way I like to roll, like we got a little bit of an agenda, but I also like to drop some bombs. When I say some bombs, I call these like savage bombs. So like if there's something that you're hearing for yourself, I want you to write it down. I want you to own it. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, let's have a conversation on this specific thing, right? And sometimes I might be like, Erica, why are you in sales? Right? And we're going to go right into I'm going to call on you all, right? Because I want you to be here and to get engaged and actually make more money. So I'm going to actually start right there. Erica, why are you in sales? Why are you in sales, Erica?
Why am I in sales here? Is
Yeah,
because,
why are you in sales? Why did you decide to come in sales?
well, I didn't decide to go in sales. I decided to
Ah,
come here to
ah,
sell. So there's
oh,
a
cool.
difference.
I
And I
love that.
came
Yeah,
here because I genuinely do believe that if I can help others, that they will help others.
amazing. Okay. I love that the reframe on that you came here because here is a beautiful place. Here with Daniel and the team, all of you, is a beautiful place to be. Y'all are the top 1% just because you are here in this environment. So I'd love to hear, let's go, Janie. Janie, why are you here? Why are you in sales specifically inside with Mastermind? Why are you in
I
sales?
okay, I'm
Yeah,
here. Can you hear me? I am
yeah.
here because I sucked at sales before this. And
Mm.
so not only I will second what Erica said, I wanted to be here, but I also wanted to develop skills that is going to take me far and beyond wherever I go in life and skills of persuasion.
Ah, okay, cool. Awesome. Bill, why are you in sales? Why'd you decide to take this path?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's the most like entrepreneur-like thing, paid for, my effort and my results directly, and the ability to, make money to support, my family and my lifestyle.
Yeah, I hear that. And me too. I got 4 kids. Sales funded my lifestyle. It funded this beautiful 5 bedroom house. Like it was a representation of who I be and my skill set combined. But like this was the vision I had as moving into this beautiful 5 bedroom house in Connecticut. And I created that. So I love that. Family. I love that. Beautiful. Austin, how about you? Why are you in sales? Why are you here with Mastermind?
Got it. No, I'm here because one, I was looking for a different environment, an environment that people I can grow with. So I kind of left my old company to come do this. Why sales though is because I'm big into self-development. I think this space is big on that. I have more control of the outcome based off my output, what I put into it.
Yes, you control. Yeah, you're the creator of your outcome. What I love about sales is we are the cause and creator of our outcomes. It's actually how I made $2 million in commissions in high ticket sales because I created it. I created it. I declared it and I created it. So we are the creators of what we want. And sales is the only mechanism I know where I can create 10K today. I can create 10K next week. I can create it in a month. I'm going to say that again. I can create it in a week, I can create it in a day, or I can create it in a month. What's the difference between all different levels of 10K? What is it, Luke? Whether I create it today, whether I create it in a week, or create it in a month. What's the difference? What's the difference of that between person A, B, and C that creates that?
I mean, time is the first thing that comes up, just because if you can create it in a day, a week, a month, that's all time.
Okay, and time, good, great. And Christian, what's required to reduce the gap of time?
Skill.
Okay, but what gets in the way? Besides skill, that's something we have to do. What is the actual thing, the mechanism that decides to shrink time?
The decisions we make
In our
life.
mind.
Mind.
Our mind is the limitation. All of you can create 10K today in sales if you wanted to. It's possible. All of you could create it in a week or a month. Person A creates it because they no longer allow their limitations to dictate their money, right? Person 2 just did it, like they didn't allow it as well. And then person 3, they took 30 days to decide to make more decisions faster and not allow the self-imposed limitations. It's the mind. What's so interesting is that 80% of training is skills on sales. But 80% of your result in your commissions in your money game are what? Based on one's own psychology, one's own mindset, emotional resilience, and intelligence to never get in a rut, ever, and let your feelings dictate your commissions. I call it the commission roller coaster. You know what I'm talking about? Put your hand at the camera. You all know what I'm saying here. Yeah. It's 80%. I'm going to say this again. 80%. If 80% of your result in your commissions to make 20, 30, 50K a month, 100K a month, whatever it might be, is your mind and your emotions, why is it that we only train barely even 20% of what's going to drive that? It doesn't make any sense, does it? If this drives my money, why am I focusing on sales and tactics and scripts and this and that? It makes zero sense. So today is going to be a very different game. We're going to train your nervous system. We're going to train your mind. And I'm going to get you all clear on some stuff. And you will not walk out the same today. You will not be the same. You will not operate the same. You're going to operate differently. And that's a bold fucking promise. Like, what? Yeah. So that's where we're going. Here's what I'm going to do. I want you all for a moment to put your why. If you didn't share already, put why are you in sales in the chat. I want everyone to be engaged. Put it in the chat. Why are you in sales? I'm in sales because, and whatever is true for you, because everything is true from some perspective. I'm going to say this again. Everything is true from some perspective. So you're not wrong for your story. It's your truth. Why are you in sales? Just own that for a moment. It's like, that's why I'm in sales. Because now you're more congruent. So you can show up to your call today and you can ask your prospect, as soon as they hop on, first question, why did you show up today? Why are you here? Right? How do we go deeper in that? Again, I'm going to drop some nuggets along here. Why are you here? Like, why'd you show up? You didn't have to. I acknowledge you for showing up. Okay, why'd you show up? Okay. Why does that matter? Second question, why does that matter? Third question, why does that matter? Fourth question, why does that matter? Boom. Pocket of pain. Done. Okay? So how do you get to pain? His pocket of pain is ask him why. Why does that matter? So I'm asking you out for a second because we got to be, it's kind of weird if we don't ask ourselves that. We try to ask a prospect because then it's like, what? I have never asked myself that. So it becomes attack if I do it with a prospect, right? I'm not all about tax, about authenticity. You first, then you lead the prospect. You lead the relationship. You lead your kids. You first. Boom. You first. It's easy. Okay. So next question. Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's bring Amy on. Amy, hello, Amy.
Hi,
You're like,
Patrick.
Amy, why are you in sales?
So I wrote it in the chat. I don't really think of myself as in sales. I really
Okay.
think of myself as a coach.
Love it.
And
Okay.
I think sales is the driver of how I can bring them through to what their goals are and they can transform and I can help them. I think of myself as a very talented coach. So I think I can bring them through to the other side so then they can go help people. And in turn, I mean, we all have said it, money, right? I'm a single mom of three.
Mm-hmm.
I can provide my family everything.
Yeah. So why does that matter that you provide your family for everything? And the sales is the mechanism.
Yeah. The team knows this. My ex-husband walked out. I had no job
Mm.
and three kids and a big house and a big life. And I was unwilling to give any of it up. And I haven't. We're still in the house. I still drive my Mercedes. I do all my things, and my kids are two in college. And I'm I'm an Aries, and I'm a little fiery. So I think it was the will of that I wasn't letting another human dictate the life I was going to have moving forward.
Mm.
So
Got
I
it. So
took control of it.
you're here to take control over your life.
Hmm.
Why does that matter you take control of your life right now? Why does that matter right now for you? Right now to take control of your life, to create the results that you want.
Because I guess I felt so out of control and I had
Out of
no,
control. Why does
yeah,
it matter to feel in control though right now?
because I can create my future and create the kids' futures.
And if you created your future for yourself and your kids, what happens?
Everything, right? We can
Ah,
live and do everything. I don't want to say no to my kids. I want them
mhm.
having all the experiences. We live, I mean, Europe, but they all do all the things, the semesters and I they deserve that and I deserve that and I'm
Yeah.
unwilling to give it up.
And what would it feel like to have that? To wake up every day and to be like, fuck, I created this. I'm living what I created. You're reaching your outcomes and you're making the money that you want. Sales is just the kind of the byproduct, enrollment,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And what would that feel like every day?
I I hope I try to live that every day. I wake up
Mm-hmm.
very purposeful,
Yeah.
very intentional, and my mindset, I like to keep it clear and focused and abundant. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't always succeed, but I do aim for that mindset every single day.
Amazing. Yeah. So I'm gonna pause right there. Thank you, Amy. All right, give her a hand. Give her a fucking hand. Let's go. Let's give her a hand. All right, Amy. So I was asking the same question. Why does that matter? Right? Why does that matter? And just notice what comes up. Either a prospect goes to pleasure or pain. That's it. They're gonna either tell you the dark night of the soul story and why they're fucking really here, right? Or they're gonna go into pleasure and what they want. Pain, pleasure, right? You got that? So again, I'm going to drop some nuggets and I'm going to come back to kind of where we're going today. But this is really important for y'all and something I've learned inside the work of transformation, right? There's actually 3 different levels. And I call these because I work with salespeople and I work with people to help them become not only unstoppable, but like make a lot of money at the same time. Like building confidence, building resilience, building discipline, building the man, the woman, who they are. And at the same time, what's so interesting is that we get to a place where we forget why we're here and we get into this autopilot, right? But everything is driven from pain and pleasure. And subconsciously, all of you already know that, right? And so there's 3 levels of people. The 100K a month person that makes 100K a month, 50K a month. There's a clear difference that I've noticed. And I have made multiple $100,000 months in commissions. I'm actually the only one in the high ticket space that's actually has ever made that much money. Like inarguable proof, not once, but multiple times. Not from what I did or said, but who I was being and the man that showed up. Why do I say this? Because I've noticed there's three different levels. I'm going to share this with you, right? People that make 10, 20, 50, 100K a month that I've noticed over the years, people that I've coached that got to that got to that level. And it's simply this. Yeah, we're like, fuck, what's he going to say? What is he going to say? People operating and selling the prospect, right? Number one, for their reasons, not the prospect's reasons. Selfishly, it's selfish selling. You're selling and you're thinking about yourself the whole fucking time. You're not thinking about the prospect. You're not serving the prospect. You're using your words, not the prospect's words. You're not being curious. You're not being into the prospect. You're being in yourself and thinking about yourself. You start to like get all weird. You're image driven. You want to look good. You got the looking good mask on. Like you're thinking about like, what if I say this wrong thing? You're in your head. You're thinking about you. You're being selfish, right? But you don't know any other way because no one's ever taught you how to actually get out of your own way. Because when you get on a sales training or a skills training, it's like no one talks about the who behind the Zoom. That you're actually in your own way creating and causing the objection. It's like, God, okay. So I am the ultimate problem. If I'm the problem, I'm also the source of creation on the other side. This is what limits people 5K a month, 7K a month. Maybe you hit a 10. Maybe you hit a 15 once. But this will always be the limit. Y'all track that? All right, this is in my hundreds. At this point, I've done 15,000 sales calls. I've been selling for 20 years, right? I'm not a newbie in the block, right? And I've audited and coached thousands of people at this point in the last just couple years, okay? So I say this from utmost experience, authentic experience, working with people and seeing them like what's possible, but yet their walls and barriers are fucking them up. It's like, God, it's you. Like, God, like you need to look at yourself on Zoom and just see like you are overthinking. Your overthinking is the problem. You're in your head. You're not with the prospect. You're not even present. I'm like, God. Then they're like, I figured out how to audit myself. Like by looking at me, looking at the person behind the Zoom and not actually the person. You separate yourself from the person, right? So number two, we've got that, right? Someone generally gets a limit between like 10 and 15,000, right? Once they break them out of that shell of breaking through themselves and sabotaging it all, right? And the roller coaster commission stops happening, start hitting like 15K months consistently, maybe 20, right? The next level is when you start selling, not selfishly, but what you start selling products and features, right? The hits another limit because now you're selling the thing. You're not actually selling, you're just selling the thing, the products, the features, like you're walking through it. And so you're losing sales when you're just selling products and features, right? The moment you stop selling products and features, you start hitting another limit, another ceiling. You break through another ceiling. And it's when you sell the future. That's it. All you're doing is selling the future. So even with Erica, I think it was Erica. Was it you, Erica, or Amy? I get a lot of people here. I'm losing it. It's Amy. So like I was just talking about Amy's future, right? So that's me kind of evoking the future. And all I'm having is a future conversation, a pleasure conversation in the future. I'm telling what's possible for her that I see in the future. Amy, what's possible that I see for you in the future is, right? What do you think is possible on the other side? If we solve this problem, what's on the other side of it? Future conversation, right? When you no longer have this issue, isolate it, right? And you have this, what happens in the future? What happens next week? What does that feel like? Right? What happens with your kids? What's the impact on your kids? What's the conversation? You wake up every day. What's it like to be in your shoes? Imagine just having a future conversation. Commission's going to go up. You guys track that? Right? So how quickly can we get to a future conversation? Right? But here's the problem that gets in the way. You get in your own way. It's like, that's scary. Oh, you start your own limits. It's like, can I stay there? Can I stay in the future? Can I be in the future? What does that even mean? What does that look like? Just go right to the future. They say a problem. What do you want? There's a problem, there's possibility. Problem, possibility. Think of it in problem, possibility. Right? Go back into the future. Now, here's the next one. This is the biggest one. This one's going to blow you guys' mind. Okay, what is the top 1%? Because you guys hear, like, it's in the ads and the marketing. How to become the 1% closer, right? I'm telling you exactly what it is, based on someone that has become that has lived this through my own experience. And working with Sales Sniper. Anyone know Sales Sniper, Matt Ryder at all? Matt Ryder? Okay, so I was the first Sales Sniper in 2020. I was the last one to leave. I made the most. I was number one out of 150 for two years plus. And I say that to you because I sustained top. How did I do that? Because I realized I stopped selling from the script that Matt taught me. I'm like, Matt, I'm not going to your trainings anymore. I'm no longer going to the daily huddles, right? Because I'm gonna invest. I've been investing in myself, my own leadership, my own emotional intelligence, my own skills. And I didn't tell him this, but I just want to show up as me inside the trainings I did in the outside of sales, communication, things like that. And guess what happened when I did that? I started selling feelings. Top 1% that make the most always, right? Sell fucking feelings. That's it. That's it. They evoke feelings and they're selling feelings. They evoke feelings and they're enrolling in feelings. It's a feelings conversation. I'm telling you right now, every single time I enroll people in my program, or a year or two ago when I was selling on other accounts, people want the same thing. They want peace and freedom. They're in a peace prison and in a freedom prison. I'm going to say this again. They're in a peace prison or a freedom prison. By the way, it's really important to use a metaphor throughout the whole call. So for all of you, for what you sell, right, what are you actually selling? You're selling freedom? Are you selling peace? Yes? Someone say yes? Anybody? Yes. Is that true? Yeah. Because part of this is they're in a prison right now. They're in a prison of pain. That's why they're not in a prison, they're not in freedom and peace. And so your offer, your product and service allows them to experience peace, allows them to get out of the prison, the time prison. So I'm going to give you a couple different prisons. There's a time prison. Some of them are losing time. They're losing time. Every moment they do not invest in this program. They are. They're losing time. They're in a prison of time. They're in a wealth prison. Does your product on offer make them more money? Yes. In some way, shape, or form? Yes. It absolutely does. So they're in a wealth prison. They're in a time prison. They're in a wealth prison, right? Because this allows them to step in out of the prison of wealth and give them the opportunity to what? Be free, create in their wealth. Be free in their time. You see that? So I'm just using a metaphor. So I'm selling feelings. And feelings are exposed through pain points, right? Here's the problem you have. How do you feel about the problem? That's it. Here's the problem you have. How do you feel knowing that you wake up every day with that? What's it like to be in your shoes? Feelings, right? And you know what I love to do? By the way, there's two types of feelings. There's pain and there's pleasure. Going back to pain, pleasure, right? Pain, pleasure. What's the painful consequence if we don't solve this? What's the painful consequence if this continues to fester? What happens if this, I'm going to stay where I am. Gut, how does it feel to know that you're continuing that path? Frustrated. Okay. So if you struggle, because a lot of people struggle with evoking feelings, like it's a skill, it's an art, give them the feelings. So I want all of you right now to write down in the chat, what are the feelings your prospect has when they come on the call that you know they have? Disappointment, frustration, doubt, fear, right? What are the things? Okay. Fear, doubt, frustration, overwhelm. Yeah. Just put that in the chat. It's all real. Yeah. Good. Stress, drop it in the chat. So imagine showing up today, because you will. All of you are going to show up, and you just tell them the feelings. Say, hey, you know what? I was just talking a conversation with a guy that just enrolled with us yesterday, and you know what he said to me? Pause. He said, I was frustrated because of X situation. Right? Maybe that's you. Is that where you're at? Right? Or some people come on these calls and they're frustrated because they're not where they want to be financially. They're in doubt because they don't know the best choice for them to actually help them get where they want to go. Is that you? Do you feel any frustration of where you're at right now? You see how I just gave them the behavior, the feeling? So I don't have to like dig the feelings. So many people think we got to dig for the feelings. Right? It's like, oh, it's so hard to dig for feelings for an A-type. How many of you struggle for that? Like digging for feelings? Anybody? Yeah, just don't dig for them. Just give them the feelings that you know. You guys do calls all the time. Give them the feelings that are true. Maybe you're coming on the call because you feel doubt or are uncertain about your future. And you're right. So when you talk about the feelings, you don't make it weird, because people buy feelings. This is what they feel. This is what they want to feel. So it's your job to be the creator of what you want them to feel. People buy for 2 reasons. Write this down. Because they feel like it, and there's no more questions. That's it. So when I was working with Sales Sniper, I sold 190 investors. No objections. No objections, ever. Because I understood those 2 things. Is that if I can get them to feel like buying, and I was the creator of them feeling that, then I reverse engineered a way to figure out how can I make them feel. Let me say it again. How can I create them to feel? Well, I had to feel myself. So I had to be what I wanted them to be. For them to be curious, I had to be curious. For them to be open, I had to be open. For them to be certain, I had to be certain. So I was already in my calls many years ago. I was like, I'm definitely doubtful there. What's going on? No wonder why I lost trust. Right? So it's the being creates the result, not the what you say. It's the being behind it. Okay, Jack, what are you taking from this so far? For yourself.
Biggest thing is
there is.
Really, you've hit on it multiple times, is the pain and the pleasure. Like there's always I touch on this in my calls sometimes, but the pain and the pleasure is what motivates people.
It does. That's it. And you all know that. Tony Robbins talks about it. Come on, you all know that. But we forget about it, right? Yeah. So when you're in the future and the feelings, it's like, what's it going to feel like when you wake up every day and you have this reality? What's it going to feel like when your kids wake up and daddy's home every day because we created this 20K a month, 100K a month, whatever the outcome is, doesn't even matter. What's that going to feel like? Do you want that? Do you want that now? Are you sure? Why do you want that now? Okay. What's it going to feel like when you have that right now? Okay. You sure you want that now? You have fun with it. And you get them to have the micro yeses to want that now because they want to feel that way now. You know what I mean? They want that now. So selling the feelings is the highest leverage point to move a sale forward. Right? And selling the feelings is part of that is selling the payoff. The payoff on what's going to happen in their life. So when I say that, you're combining selling the feelings and selling the future. And selling the future, when you combine selling the feelings and the future is the payoff of what's going to happen in their life when they actually get what they want. Feelings, selling the future, and when you stack that together with selling the features and benefits, because the analyzer mind for them still wants to know the details. You got to give them some of the details, but the details are 30 seconds. Step 1, 2, and 3. I'm telling you right now, when I was selling, and even still today, even people in my program, I don't even tell them the details because they don't give a shit about the details. It's like going to, you want to go to Fiji, right? You get a travel agent and you get them to take you to Fiji. All you're thinking about what's going to feel like to be on the beach. Because you imagine if they fucked up the sale, the travel agent, and he's like, well, do you want to take an Uber or a taxi? We're gonna take an Uber or a taxi. Okay, then when we get to the airport, we're gonna get you ahead of line and do this. Like they don't give a shit. They're just thinking about the destination. So yes, sell the destination, which is the future, but sell the feelings they're going to experience when they get there, stacked with some of the details, right? And the details are in the questions. So what questions do you have? What questions do you have? What questions do you have? What else? What else? There's no more questions. When there are questions, right, that are unanswered, it becomes an infected objection. Objections are unanswered questions that you did not ask or give them the opportunity to feel safe enough to ask in the moment. Yeah. There are no more objections if you answered all their questions. The only thing that comes up is a payment plan, or it becomes, that's it. Or could be a fear, but you're not handling the fear because you've already talked about fear 30 minutes ago. And you made fear okay. You allowed fear. Fear is okay. Thank God there's fear. Thank God there's fear here, because that means you're on the edge of stepping into greatness. The next version of you. The next version of you that has this pleasurable possibility. So glad that's here. That's good feedback so that we can move past it. So you can feel what you actually want to feel. Pausing right there. All right? Eason, I'm dropping a lot right now. It's only been 39 minutes. What is coming up for you in your mind right now?
Honestly, a lot. That's everything. It's a lot about identity. I think it's a lot about being congruent and then showing up as that person to, do the best you can on that call. It's a lot of, I think, what I've been working on recently with my mindset coach too, just not recently, like the past 6 months, right? It's talking about how am I showing up?
Mm-hmm.
Am I my 2.0 version when I show up on the calls? I think it's one of the main things. And things happen from week to week, and a lot's going on. I feel like what I'm taking away is beyond just showing up too. I think my personal thing that I'm taking away is I tend to have a death grip on things, or I hold on to a lot of stuff, when it probably serves me better to let things go, to show up with more easiness. Like when you jump on the call in the beginning, like your tonality is very light, and I already feel at ease, like when you were speaking. I think that's another piece.
Mm.
But it's all about identity for me, I think, at this current stage.
Yeah. What questions that any of you have for me right now in this moment? Jake, did you want to say something?
I thought it was the biggest thing I'm taking away is like when you were talking about maybe taking that feeling, that like normalizing it, right? So if they come into the call with that doubt or they're frustrated, like give them that, like start off with that feeling. What does that look like when you kind of start off like a call? Like let's say you figure out what they're trying to achieve, like the outcome they're trying to get to, right? How soon do you start getting into like that feeling part? Or like how does that start for your calls?
Yes, now what I'm hearing you say is that you want to get tactical on the how. There's no fucking how. That means you're looking for something that you think you don't, in my experience of you in this moment, something that you don't believe is available already for you. And you're looking for permission to tell you a tactic or a how behind something that is unnecessary. You have it within you. What do you have within you, Jake?
I have I don't know. Yeah, I can do all this. I can just
All of what?
all this. I can take someone through the transformation. It doesn't really matter how I get there.
Doesn't matter. If you're in your head and you're talking to them, you're not present with them.
Mm-hmm.
So some of you right now are looking on your phones. I invite you to create this next hour and 20 minutes as a practice of presence. Presence is the biggest gift you can give your prospect. And presence means you're with them. Your eyes are with them. Your energy is with them. And your nervous system is synced up to yours. Not because you're trying to. It's because it becomes one synchronized, trusting nervous system. Because your presence is so magnetizing that they are forced to what? Sync up to your nervous system from who you're being. And it's unwavering. Just like you guys can feel me right now. This is intentional. Okay, the 1% operates from intention, not mechanism. The mechanism is the who, is the what, the how, the script, what do I say? No. The most successful leaders on the planet, all of them that you all know, right? The reason that you're like, we're all magnified and like we attract to them is because of their presence and who they're being, not what they're saying. Okay, so Jake, so I invite you to let go of the what and be more of you in the who and magnified presence. And be okay with what is, okay? Eason.
Just a good question on the presence part. You know,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Probably had moments where maybe I'll just speak for myself, right? It's like probably had moments where it's like I'm not present. Like I can be like that for 4 or 5 hours, 5, 7 days a week, 1 month, 2 months. Then hits a point after maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks that I find it hard to be present. Like, has that ever happened to you? If it did, how'd you overcome it?
Great question. So what I hear you say is, and guys, what I'm doing, I'm also want to teach you. It's so important to paraphrase and to listen underneath the listening for all of your prospects. So you hear me say this because I just want to make sure I got what you're saying. What does that do when I come back and say, what I'm hearing you say is this, did I get that? I'm what? Synchronizing nervous system. And when I synchronize my nervous system with it, when there's a dysregulation going on either end, you lose what? It starts with a T, T-R-U-S-T, trust. Meaning they're over here, heightened anxiety, you're over here, heightened anxiety, and you're both playing a game of chess. And then limitation and shadows come in play. But like what creates safety and trust is nervous system presence. So if you struggle with being present with yourself, your close rate will reflect that. So your question was,
Present with yourself.
how do you get present with yourself is really the question I'm hearing. So this is also called listening. I train this different levels of listening, the art of listening. There's hearing underneath the words of what they're not saying that you're hearing. When you can get to that level of listening with the prospect, they're like, fuck, I trust this guy. What's required is nervous system presence. So what I'm really hearing is, how the fuck do I get radically present? Because I struggle with it. Is that what I'm hearing is true?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think it's staying with that presence extended periods of time. I don't know if you've gone to a level where it's like that doesn't break. Like, I don't know if it breaks ever for you and then you have to come back in, or if like now it's like a pilot, you know what I mean? That's a different level.
Yeah. So I lived in a world most of my life in addiction. 15 years into 2015 of addiction, a food addiction. I was overweight most of my life, 100 pounds heavier. I was the most unpresent guy on the planet. When anxiety hit, it devastated me. I didn't want to be present in the moment. I had 4 kids, couldn't be present with them. And I knew that version, like I knew I was a shitty father and shitty dad, and I felt guilt and shame. Why would I say this to you? Because I struggled with anxiety and presence. It wasn't until I decided in 2015 to change my life and go through a healing journey and not be thrown into rehabs ever again that I did that. And find healing, find freedom. And I went on that journey. I lost 100 pounds. I stabilized my nervous system myself. I got trained in nervous system work. I got trained as a NLP coach. I got trained in emotional intelligence. And then I got in sales in 2020. Like, again, back in sales when I got divorced and went into high ticket. Then I applied all this into high ticket. That's why I was so successful. The scripts actually made me worse. I was like, man, I'm not doing the script anymore. Made me worse. So why do I say all this? I went through thousands of hours of meditation to learn how to be present with myself. Anyone ever heard of Vipassana meditation? Anybody? Okay, so I've done 12 days of Vipassana sitting in silence. No talking for 12 days, 3 times. Again, this was my journey. It doesn't have to be yours. I'm saying to get presence, Eason. But I learned a technique that changed my life that we did for 12 hours a day. There's multiple techniques to get present. The moment I actually got present in 2017 for the first time, it was the most scary and liberating thing of my life. And I realized in that moment, 2 things. The moment that I realize I'm not present, I'm actually present. You should probably write that down. The moment that I realize I'm not present, because it becomes a game of awareness. For all of you, it's a game of awareness and conscious leveling in different levels of consciousness. So like I used to go a week or 3 weeks and be like, fuck, I'm not present. Now I'm present, right? Now I've conditioned myself, because I teach this work at a very high level with people, that I live the work so deeply that I when I'm not present, it's like 3 seconds and then I'm present. And I'm channeling through me. And what comes through me is presence, the presence of what is. So the whole thing about Vipassana, the meditation, is accepting what is without trying to change it. So what does this have to do with sales? I'm going to come back to the presence. It's a great conversation. Most of you, I don't say most of you because I don't want to project it on you, but some of you are in sales calls and you're not present because you're thinking about yourself, but you're not accepting what is. Do you know I had a whole different agenda here for the first hour? Completely different agenda. But I'm meeting all of you where you're at, knowing that I'm accepting this reality in this moment as it is. Could you imagine if I had my agenda and I had my PowerPoint and I came out and did this? This would have happened. Whatever the fuck this is. You guys check that? So on your sales calls, constant game of moving them forward. Your job is to move the sale forward, to meet them where they're at every micro moment. It's a game of mastering the present moment with the prospect and then leading them with the next question. Acknowledging them, this is the framework. If you want the framework of the tactic, whatever, it's the framework of asking them a question. Acknowledging the second thing is acknowledging what they say to confirm the understanding, right? So, like when they answer the question, okay? And then ask another question. That's it. Answer the question, ask another question. So many times I see it's like 16 minutes of vomiting of the prospect versus being present with, yes, what they're saying, but stopping them and saying, got it, I heard you say this. Next question. Leading. We're so afraid to lead. So we're meeting where they're at and we're taking them where we need to take them. So I'm meeting all of you where you're at in this present moment. And I trust myself and I trust this space. I trust that we are going to land somewhere beautiful today. So you get deeper than what I thought you needed versus what we actually need. We have to get to create together, because a sales call is a co-creation conversation. It's not a me conversation. It's a partnership. This right here for these 2 hours is a partnership. You guys feel the energy, how we're all kind of synced together in a weird way? This is kind of different, isn't it? All of us. Y'all feel that? I feel that. It's kind of like, something's happening different here. You feel the energy, don't you? Wow. This is what you get to create with the prospects. So back to presence. The moment you know you're present, the moment you notice that you're not present, you're present. The other thing is, and we're going to do this together because I'm feeling called to do this, is how do you actually train yourself to be present? Well, I'm going to give you guys a technique we're going to do. You guys cool if we do this together? How to get back to regulation immediately together?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Cool. I see 7 Day Fast here in the chat. Look at that. Awesome, Austin. I can't say the 2 A's there. So this is called Anapana breathing. In my program that I work with people, I have 25 different internal weapons. Right, this is just one of the weapons. I call them weapons because when you can start to weaponize yourself with the tools. Like sometimes I call them chainsaws. If you've got like 25 chainsaws, you become unstoppable. You become resilient wherever you go because you become the weapon. You become the thing. So no longer is a tool. It's just it's who you be. You become it. Right? And I love it. I love, because the whole goal is not to use a tool anytime, it's to be the tool. Right? So I'm going to have you learn the tool, because there's different ways to look at this, right? The highest level of mastery is 3 things: learning, living, leading. So you're going to learn the tool right now. I want you to live it as a practice this week, and then you're going to lead it. Right? Meaning you're going to be it. You're going to lead it. You might fucking teach it on a sales call. I would do a transformational training 3-4 years ago, spend 10 days in person at a shadow work experience, learning shadow work, going deep on myself. And guess what I would do on a sales call? I would start teaching it. I'd start doing parts work with people on a sales call. Like, oh, I'm going to look at this fear part of you. Can I talk to fear? And I would start doing what I was learning, so that I could master it at another level from a skill perspective. But also, like, I realized that if I can talk to a prospect's fear, then like they're going to feel safe with me. It was so cool because it's a transformational call. Why not? So I just dropped a lot there. But what I want to do is get into the game of presence. So here's how we're going to do that. So everybody put your arms like this and open them up. Okay. This is open body. This is closed. We want our prospects to be open. Are we open? Or we have a closed system. Open system, closed system. Open system, closed system. Feels different. Feel that? Oh, yeah. I feel energy. I feel contraction. Energy, contraction. Cool. So just relax for a moment. Just keep that up. Feel the energy you feel. Notice if you're breathing. Notice if you're not breathing. Just notice what you notice. Notice if you're breathing. Notice if you're not breathing. Notice when you breathe. So how we get back to the present moment is simple. We anchor on to a sensation. The sensation anchors us and gets us from our head back into our body and connecting both of them. And the way we're going to do that is by noticing the breath in above the upper lip. So there's the upper lip, there's above the upper lip, and there's your nostrils. I want you to breathe through your nostrils. Keep your mouth closed. And I want you to notice the air coming out of your nostrils above the upper lip. And just nod if you notice the air. Just give a little nod. Now I want you to go deeper and notice, is it hot? Is it cold? Is it stuffed up? Does it have a sensation to it? Just notice the sensation that you experience. Maybe if you do a deeper breath, like right? Do you notice it's stuffy? It's hard to get the air out? You know, is it blocked a little bit? Like, what are you noticing above the upper lip? And notice when your mind wanders and wants you to disconnect from that sensation. Just so oh, hello, thought, and come back. Maybe it's a deeper breath. Try a deeper breath. What happens when there's a deeper breath? Keeping it connected to that upper lip, noticing the nostrils and the airs. So now we've just anchored back into the body. And come on back here in this moment with us here. You can just let that go. Raise your hand if you're a little bit more present in this moment. Just even a little bit, 5-10%. If you notice something shift. Yeah. So that's a practice of connecting with you. Connecting with yourself. When we're dysregulated and we got all this stuff going on, like we're between calls, call. It's like, wait. Like me first so I can serve the prospect. Let me connect with myself. Let me connect with myself. Wait. I'm still in my head. No. Let me connect with me. What am I experiencing? What's alive for me in this moment? What's alive for me? That's the question. What's alive for me? So Jason, what's alive for you in this moment?
What's alive? ALIVE?
Yeah,
Alive?
what's alive for you in this moment? From based on what we just experienced, with connecting with this anapana breathing, of connecting with the upper lip and the nostrils and the sensation.
Yeah. What's alive? Like I'm feeling like a warmth all through my body, like up here through like my chest area. And that's something that I was really focusing on while I was doing the breathing, because I was focusing here, but I was feeling this, and then I was being present with that, and I'm still feeling it. So
Yeah. And the cool thing is, gents, ladies, is that this is something to do during a sales call. Right? So like half the sales call is checking in with myself. Who am I being for this person? This is emotional intelligence, deep emotional intelligence. How am I, it's not about judging yourself. It's like, am I regulated? Like, how am I showing up? And actually, I get to choose how I show up for this person moment to moment. I get to use my energy, and I get to evoke different feelings and excitement, but I have to be connected to myself first. That's a lot there, but here's what I am saying, is that I invite you for all your calls is to, when you go and you're so in your head, you're in the moment, come back to self and take a breath. If all you do is take a breath, you are now back in the present moment. The breath is the mechanism for coming back to the present moment. I had to go through 200 hours of breathwork facilitator training to figure that shit out. Yes, the experience of Vipassana, but actually training people to come back to the presence came from actually realizing that I have the ability to come back to the present moment every time. I get to choose that. I choose it right now. I'm here. And then watch what happens. You breathe, they breathe. You breathe, they breathe. You breathe, they breathe. Okay. Isabella, what's coming up for you? What's alive for you in this moment? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? What's true for you?
Well, I like to practice breath work in general. That's something like I practice with my therapist, like on a spiritual and then like just emotional level. But when I do practice breath work, I usually, well, in this current moment, since you're asking that, I feel similar to like Jason, kind of like the buzz here, but then also kind of feeling like the energy kind of like coming up here of like peaceful and like calm. So feeling that my nervous system getting a little bit more regulated, even though I just had a cup of coffee and the caffeine is like driving through me a little bit, but feeling that like that buzz of the presence is what's alive for me right now.
Yes. So there's something I learned, and we're going to go here right now. I learned how to actually be in peak performance, like peak performance, peak self-connection, be in peak service connection with the prospect. And when I started just training myself to be this, I just magnified presence, and money just appeared, and everyone was a yes, still even to today. And the people that I work with, the closers I work with, like they become magnetic too. Like 100K close. I got a client that closed 100K yesterday. I had another person paid in full, just because it's who they're being. But what's required is the pre-call process before that, of getting yourself not into state, but getting out of yourself and getting into the prospect. Excuse me, getting into the prospect. So there's a whole protocol I created. I call it the pre-call power protocol. I think this is one of the questions that Daniel asked, or one of you asked Daniel when asking questions to talk about today. How do we get into a state, in a place where we are selfishly serving the prospect, and as soon as they get on the call, they can fucking feel you, and they're already in vulnerable trust, and they're already like, I like this guy, and they're already perceiving you as like the one. You guys want to have that conversation? She's like, yeah, okay. So let's have that conversation, okay? I'm not going to break down, for time purposes today, we're not going to break down the entire thing. Okay, but I'm going to give you pieces of it. And if you guys want access to the whole course, I'll give it to you for free. I'll send you where you can get it. Okay, pre-call power protocol, which will increase your close rate and make you more powerfully present and get you what you want for them. I'm going to give you a couple of steps. I have a whole process behind it where you create your own protocol within the tools I provide. But step number one is simply you first. You get yourself regulated. Now, there's different ways you can do this, right? But if it could be breathing. So let's do another thing real fast. I want everyone to breathe in through your nose now. Go. Hold. Sip more. Let go. Oof, oxygen. I'm a little more present. You guys feel that? Yeah. It's like a little hit of like legal marijuana or not marijuana, legal cocaine. It's a secret sauce, right? Me first, and then I anchor, and then them, me, them. So part of this, there's 5 steps to them. I'll just give you the most important steps. Me, you. Me first, you. Me, you. Me, you. Me, you. Me, I'm good, and I'm clear. Now you. Now there's 2 steps inside them. Okay, step number 1 is what's at stake for them? What's at stake for them? What's at stake for them? When you can get in touch with like what the fuck's at stake with them? If you don't go anywhere to move this forward to a yes, what's at stake for their family? What's at stake for their kids? And I'm talking fucking massive pain where you're like, fuck. So like, what's at stake is one sentence. Their father has to continue working till 8 p.m. every night and not actually retire early. And what's at stake is their children will remember their dad as the dad that never showed up. And kids will live a life feeling not enough. And they will seek out a partner to feel enough. And that partner, they'll be desperately unhappy and create a family and children out of the fact of need and approval for that partner and eventually get divorced. Simply because I didn't move them forward into my program. Fuck. That's what's at stake for the prospect, is the dad having to work and not actually free his time. Getting in stake. So I want all of you to create your what's at stake. So put it in the chat right now. What's at stake if you don't go anywhere with the prospect, or if you know you can help them out and you let them go, this is what's at stake. What's at stake? It's just one sentence. That was a lot, right? But what's one thing? It's like, fuck. Misery. Like a life of misery, a life of suffering, a life of regret. Regretting that they waited. And now their kids suffer because daddy is not home. You know, working for the rest of her life. Never free. Yeah. So what's at stake? It's like, fuck. So you have this written down as a sentence, right? And you just look at it. It gets you into states like, fuck, this is why we're going at it. Okay. The next piece is you, right? So now you want to get in a state of them. Because when you're thinking about, like, when I say you, is you want to say their name. Say their name. John. John, I got you. John, we got this. Why? Because the most powerful thing you can say on a call is their name. So before they show up, say their name. First word, hey, John. So glad you're here, John. You start to get out of your own limitation and get into them just by saying their name. So the first fucking minute, say their name like 5 times. But you say it like once before you get on the call. This is like a process that you do in less than 60 seconds that just like gets you out of like limitation and gets you into possibility and gets you into them service. You, them. You, them. Okay. That's the shortened version. Okay. Rob, what's coming up for you right now?
I think it's a lot of being like like focusing on them. So like if we can be self-regulated, like you said, then we can be very present with them and then serve them at the highest level possible.
Yeah. You first. Yeah. And Kaj, is it Kaj? How do you say that?
It's Kai.
Kaj. Sorry, I didn't see that part. Kai, what's coming up for you right now?
I mean, I think for me, it's the biggest part is just kind of, like I said, staying engaged, rephrasing, using their name repeatedly, right? Tying into that emotional background, just making them feel real.
Yeah. Making them feel special. Really, our only job is to make them feel better about themselves. Write that shit down right now, y'all. Our only job is to make them feel better about themselves. That's it. Have you ever had someone serve you, not sell you, but serve you, and it was so easy? They made it easy. Why? Because you felt better in the call than before, in the beginning of the call. You felt better. And why did you buy? Why did you really buy, Luke? Because you felt like it, right? Rob, why did you really buy? Because it felt good. You trusted the feeling, right? Janie, why did you really buy? It felt good. So our job is just simply what? To make them feel better about themselves as much as possible. And evoke pain and evoke pleasure. And then contrast the two. And then there's the gap between pain and pleasure. They don't want this anymore. They want this. Okay, so what do you need to do? What do you know you need to do so we can experience this all the time? Cross the gap. Okay, what's required? What do you need to do? What's the next step? It's that simple. Right? Feelings. But it starts with selling feelings. Going back to that conversation. Richard, what's coming up for you? Where are you at?
Yeah, man, I would say just kind of seeing the lens of their life, right? Just kind of getting into their mind and encouraging them, right? Making them feel better, like you mentioned. And I try to do that as best as I can. Like, hey, man, that's a great idea. I think you can do big things here, man. You have great ambition, these kind of things. And so,
oh, yeah. Yeah. Here's the easiest way to evoke feelings in the possibility land, the pleasure land. People love this. People want to be told what's possible. Say these words. This is the tactic. Here's what I see possible for you. Here's what I see available for you. Here's what I see possible for you. And the next one to evoke the highest level of pleasure, with desire, is simply this. I'm excited for you. Can I tell you why I'm excited for you? I'm excited for your future. I'm excited the adventure we're about to unpack. You haven't sold them anything. You're not even invited them in the program. You haven't talked about the program. You're just excited for them. You're excited about the journey they're on. You're excited about what they want. You're excited about their goals. And you state what you're excited about. State it. Because what you speak out loud becomes real. If you don't speak it, it becomes a shadow. Like the goodness of enthusiasm and excitement is, and I train a whole thing on this, there's different parts of you shadows that stop you, right? And a light shadow is when we don't evoke enthusiasm, excitement, and bring that to our calls. When we don't do that, it becomes a curse. It becomes a limitation. And we lose commissions because of it. We lose sales because it's not allowed. I trained this last night in 3 hours in my war room training, or my integration call, which Daniel was there. Whatever we don't allow becomes a shadow, and it controls us and our commissions. So allow yourself to go there. I just put in the chat. This is hit me up on WhatsApp if you want the full thing. Hit me up. Just put Power Protocol, and I'll send it to you directly. Just put Power Protocol. I'll send you the steps. There's videos. It breaks it down so you all can just master this one thing this week. And really, it's not about mastering everything. It's about doing one thing and fucking owning it and just living it and then leading it. And you show up powerfully. So this is one of the biggest gifts I can give you is this. Just hit me up, put the word Power Protocol, and I'll share the whole thing with you. Any questions about what we've talked? What questions do you guys have for me in this moment? I'm gonna meet you guys where you're at. What questions do you have in this moment for me? That's coming up. Any question? Jason?
Yeah. So throughout this whole training, I've heard you say a lot about how it is about being the person, showing up, and it's not about tactics. It is about being a certain person. You've gone through NLP training, you've done shadow work, the meditation.
Yeah.
Like, what is maybe, if you would say like the one biggest driver, if you could narrow it down to like one or two things to like focus on this more than anything to really become the person that you need to be to really perform, what might that be?
To be the person, you're asking me ask me that a little more clear. If there was one
Sure.
specific thing.
Yes, if there's one specific thing to really step into, I guess, your own identity, if that's what we're talking about, what was the biggest lever for that?
Do you want to know the truth?
Yeah.
Death of the identity and rebirth of installation of the new identity. It's required. Probably 19 times. I can count. If you Google my name, Patrick Allan Jones, you will see 19 different versions of me. Fat, skinny, skinny. Now I talked like lower pitch, higher pitch voice. And then like I talked with anxiety really quickly in my videos 5 years ago. They're all different moments of time when I invested in coaching, mentoring to get out of my own way, or experiences transformational that when I came back, I was a different human being. Walking, talking human being. So what I know is required because this is exactly what Daniel had just gone through. Daniel had gone through a death and rebirth over the last 30 days of my program. And I share that with you because it's what's required, right? Death of the stories, death of the victim, of the parts of us that are controlling us. You become aware of them, and then you become friends with those parts, and you liberate yourself from that current identity. And then we imprint a new identity, and it becomes permanent in your nervous system. So to answer your question, death and rebirth of the identity. It's not some mindset thing where you can just change and reframe. It's not a reframe game because it's not permanent. Yeah, that's my truth. Daniel, you want to hop in here? Just share, because Daniel, maybe we should get Daniel Visconti. He just went through it, maybe because you're living it right now.
Yeah.
Talk about that too, because it's a great question. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll hear this all over the internet, guys. It's really just the process of doing the inner work. So when you think about like your limitations, you think about your belief system, you think about the way you react on a daily basis, like you can literally trace that back to your childhood. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I implore you to do the inner work because you'll find out that I did this back in the day because I wanted to feel safe. For example, for me, is something I'm working on right now and going through my transformation is you wanted to be popular, you wanted to be friends back in the day because it felt safe rather than be ostracized. But when you go into the next version of yourself, like the people pleasing behavior, the doing things to be nice, like is the polar opposite of like what real leadership is. And when you think about this on your sales calls, like when you're trying to be a friend on the sales call, you're not being a leader and they're not going to follow you. So all the times you're afraid to say something, because you want to be their friend, because it's safe, because you learned that programming back in the day at some time, like you realize like you have to get rid of that and you have to lead from a totally different identity. So I implore every one of you guys just to do a ton of inner work. So just think about all the things like, why do you procrastinate? Why do you say you're going to do this and keep pushing it off? Why are you afraid to have tough conversations with people? Like when you just think about all of the traits, if you really do the inner work, and really go back and just like sit in your thoughts and like go through this process, you're going to realize that all of your limitations and all of your belief systems you put together at some point in the past to keep you safe. And if you want to grow, you're going to have to grow into a new identity because a new identity is not people pleasing. It's not like I want to be the popular person. Like you're going to have to do things a lot differently. And I just implore every one of you guys just to really go through some type of process to really just do the deep inner work and you're going to figure out. And it's really like what Patrick always says, like it's about awareness. Like now that I'm aware that the reason why I have these beliefs or the reason why I went through like a people pleasing process is because It's just the way I did to survive in the past and make me feel safe. You're aware of that. You just let it go and you're like, okay, no worries. Like I accept that. But like moving forward into the future, like that's not going to get me to where I want to go. Because being popular and feeling seen means you're going to be like everyone else. But like when you want to grow and when you want to rise, like you see like how just one identity will not get you here.
Mm. Yeah, beautifully said. Better than I could say it, Daniel. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Jason, what's coming up for you from that? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I appreciate that because it's easy to just say, "Hey, I did breath work and it changed my life," or I
Mm-hmm.
did some NLP, or maybe I went out to Peru and did
Yeah.
ayahuasca. I don't know, but there is something to be said about just diving deep internally, auditing what's going on, like what is limiting you, and really what's behind that, and not about diagnosing it to change little tactics, but to become a
Mm-hmm.
version of you that isn't like that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So death of your former self, growing into a new. I like that. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to unpack that in a second deeper. I just put in the chat again because this is coming up for me in this moment. This is what's true for me. If you're interested to learn more about, not even learn, just have a conversation about like breaking through those limits, death and rebirth conversation of self. Shoot me a WhatsApp and then put the word no limits. We'll have a no limits conversation. That'll be a fun conversation. Is anyone interested in a no limits conversation with me? Okay, hit me up. We'll figure that piece out. I love those conversations. By the way, fucking smile on your sales calls. What the fuck? Seriously, y'all smile in life, right? You go to the grocery store, you're smiling. Be you everywhere. Don't be selective. I audit calls and I'm like, what the fuck? Who are you being? You're being rigid. Do you show up rigid in life? No. Smile. Let go of the programming right now. It starts right now. Okay? There was a version of me too that showed up like this. I got sales calls from 4 years ago where I was just like, this is how it should look. No. Hey, like, how's the weather? Whatever. No, just let it go. Allow. Okay? So it starts with here in this room, right? Move. Like, it's okay. Be a little weird. Like, be you, right? Relax. Cool. Allow. We were so like, no, let it go. That's just an invitation. So, piggybacking on death and rebirth of identity. This is an interesting conversation. I'm gonna teach and also share. Okay, and then we're gonna wrap with something really powerful. Okay. I have realized in sales, no one ever taught me. This is my experience. This is me selling 25 million in high ticket in 4 years. This is me like reps, willingness to like get the reps in, not to be the best because I already was the best. I'm gonna say this again. All of you are the best. We don't need to do something to become the best. There's nothing wrong with you. You already are the fucking best. We just forgot. It's like, you guys ever watched Lion King? Simba, remember who you are. It's not about, because he started going on this journey, like trying to eat other shit and be who he's not. And that's it. That's the message. The problem is the walls and barriers, Jason, get in the way. The mud, the programming. So it's not about fixing you. It's about remembering who the fuck you are and being that and allowing more of that because it's a lot more fun. Now I say that because there are three levels of pain. 3 levels of pain. The moment I realized this, this is like how I was operating on a call, but I didn't realize it until I wrote it all out as a framework. I'm like, oh, there's 3 levels of pain or 3 levels of problems and pain. And so like, if we would just understand the 3 levels of pain, then we can move a prospect and just get right to the source of the fucking problem. Like, oh, okay. So like, give you an example. My girlfriend broke her foot last year. I was in Thailand, Bali last year. I love traveling. I live in Connecticut, but we were traveling for twice last year. And she broke her foot in Bali. And I had left Bali. I actually wasn't there. I had left like a week early because I had to get back for my kids. And so she broke her leg in Bali and she couldn't move. And so I had to go back to Bali and fly back and actually bring her back to the States. And I did. We went to the doctor, and I was so fascinated by this doctor's conversation. And the doctor was so fascinating. I got my phone, I recorded it. It was May last year. And I recorded it. I was like, this is really good. Like, what's going on here? The doctor was diagnosing the real fucking problem. We showed up on the call. We showed up there, and we were like thinking like, this is what I'm coming in thinking the problem is, right? Just like your prospects come on, this is called surface level pain. Surface level pain. They're speaking about what they think the problem is, the surface level. It's easy, right? They're like, oh, I need to lose weight. It doesn't matter what the offer is. It doesn't matter. I'm just giving examples. Oh, I need to lose weight. I'm struggling with this. It's what is spoken, and I want you to write this down, known spoken pain. They know it, and it's spoken. It's conscious, and they speak it to you. So just like the doctor, it's like there's this, we were starting to speak, and he was starting to speak like, oh shit, other stuff's going on, and asking us deeper questions. And in those questions, it revealed secret pain that I didn't want to tell him, like how we're actually struggling to like get by, and it's taking hours to get into the house, and she struggles sleeping at night, and it's getting in the way of me producing and creating and being in my jive. And like I'm losing money because I'm not able to create the level that I used to because she's up all night and I'm taking care of her. Secret pain. Right? Surface level pain, secret level pain, write this down, is known, unspoken pain. So if we can just, with your prospects, go right to understanding these levels of pain, and going right to what are they telling me that's spoken, that's known. Okay, what's really underneath the surface, the diagnosis of okay, secret level pain. What's the pain points, if you want to call it pain points? What are they really experiencing day to day because of this problem? Frustrations, the doubts, the insecurities, what's really happening in their world because of it. You guys got that? Right? And then the doctor started being like, okay, here's the real problem. I was like, oh shit. Expert doctor. Here's what's really going on. I'm like, Buck, what is it? Can I tell you? And he's sitting there like quiet and calm. I call it the calm surgeon. I teach this in my program where you learn how to actually evoke the calm surgeon. The calm surgeon is lethal. He's like, you trust the calm surgeon. He tells you the news. Dude, you got this broken instead. Like you thought it was that, but it's actually this. Can I tell you more about that? I'm like, yeah. What do we got to do to fix it? So it's all of your job to get to the root of the problem. I call this source pain. Source pain. What's actually causing the surface level problems? There's no fuck pre-handle objection stuff. Everyone that teaches that, and I'm sorry, maybe you teach that here, Daniel, but maybe you do, I don't know. You can pre-handle, yes, but it becomes an inauthentic tactic versus understanding and knowing there's 3 levels of pain, y'all. Just go right to the source. I'm not saying right to the source, but you're listening for the source. And the source is, you're coming in here, man, but you know what? This is the real problem. Can I tell you what, you say, can I tell you what the real problem is? He's like, yeah, and this is during a sales call. You're giving the diagnosis. I teach a whole framework called Pit to Peak, where you take them through a transformational ceremony. And in stage number 4, it's you give the diagnosis. This is the real problem. Can I tell you what it is? Stop, nervous systems are matching. He's like, yes. Pause. They're like, tell me what it is. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you struggle with emotional control. You lack emotional intelligence, right? So this is with salespeople, right? What's causing them, like your self-imposed limitations are actually limiting you from making 50K a month. So this is, I know my own avatar, right? So I know what's stopping them from getting what they want. What if you knew this with your prospects and you could speak to it? It's the same patterns with all of them. Okay, 3 levels of pain, right? And then they want to fix it. They want to solve it, right? Because you gave them the diagnosis. It's the truth. Our job is to be the truth. It gives them the truth. You guys all know the real truth, right? Of what's stopping them, right? Tell them what you see and get permission. And that's the diagnosis. Add that to this week today and watch what happens. Trust. So we're descending into different levels of trust. The ultimate form of trust is when you get permission to actually share the deeper problem, the root of it. That's fucking trust. I'm going to pause right here. Jonelle, what's coming up for you? This is big shit. No one trains this in this way at all. This is like in the field experiential, figuring out like the nervous system, figuring out like the somatic, the mind, and like, okay, this makes complete sense, right? And then every time it's like inarguable and there's no tactic behind it. Jonelle, what's coming up for you?
I think just with what we're talking about as of now, it's the 3 levels of pain. I think that's kind of new, at least new to me, as far as like
Sure.
we understood like the surface level pain, but then secret pain and source pain. And I like the part about, can I tell you what the real problem is? Because I feel like that's going to be a real eye opener for most people. Because to your point, they don't really see it. They don't know what's going on. Like they think it's this when really it's all the way over here. And I like kind of how you phrase that as just like the calm surgeon of just getting their permission and just being real open and honest with them. And I think just in general, our conversation as a whole has been really, really awesome. And there's so much to it. And just to kind of echo what Daniel said, as somebody who's been, I think it'll be in April, being in therapy for 2 years, I think that's really helped me in not just in sales, but in life, but they go together. And I always used to think they'd be so separate. I thought that like work was work, personal was this, and they were all their own buckets, and really they just all flow together. So that's something that I think just whether it's therapy or whatever modality that is, I think it's definitely helpful for all areas of life. But yeah, I think it's been a lot of good nuggets today.
Yeah, so good. Yeah. And so we've layered different things, the 3 levels of pain as a nugget. There's been some micro nuggets in place, right? But ultimately what it comes down to is crossing the gap. So I want you all to write out, what is it you want? So put in the chat, what is it you want right now but you don't have? And I'm talking about sales. So like talk about numbers. If you're here and you want to make this, what is it you want? It's important to get clear on what you want. So put in the chat, is it 20K a month? Is it 15K a month? So like the number, right? Put a number in there. I'm really curious to see. Put where you're at, put what you want. Let's do that, right? Because publicly declaring it is power. Like you can now create it because you've spoken it out loud. It's no longer inside you. So put in the chat because I'm curious to hear how much you're making, how much you want to make. How much you're making, how much you want to make. How much you're making, how much you want to make. So put that in the chat just to get clear for yourself. And by the way, we did talk about, remember the four different levels of going from breaking 5 to 10K a month to breaking 15 to 20K a month. All those levels of how we sell in general. That's another piece, right? But I'm gonna land somewhere with this. Okay, where you're at, how much do you want to make? Right? Because there's different levels to the game of this. Okay. Cool. Now, I want you now to add up exactly what's that gap number per month. So drop in the chat the gap number. So if you're at 10, you want to make 20, put 10K in the chat. By the way, this is also really important. How do you create urgency? That was one of the questions Daniel, someone asked for. How do you create urgency in the sale? By creating a gap. Fastest way. So right now, I'm doing with you what I want you to do with your prospects. Create a gap of how much money they're at versus how much they can make, or whatever that, generally it's always money, right? Because you guys help them make more money, right? They make more money as a byproduct? Okay. Well, your service or product will help them with that. So what's the gap? So what I have them do is get a calculator out. I would have them all. Okay, cool. So how much is that per month? Compliance won't like that. Okay. You can't talk about it. Got it. I understand that. Okay. Totally get that. That's a real deal thing. Okay. There's a way around that. There's a way around that. Silently. Okay, so let's just do it with you, and somehow maybe you can communicate that in some way. We sell a dream. Yes, you sell a dream. I get that. Okay, so now add it up times it by 12. What's the year number? Put the year in the chat. What's the year number? that currently money that's not in your bank account. Okay. Money that's not your bank account. 120, 120. Got it, got it, got it, got it. Yes, 96. Yes, put it in the chat. And there's other ways to create the gap too, right? Pleasure, possibility, pain, right? There's other ways to create a gap. Now, times it by 5. So times it by 5 right now, that number, calculator out, times it by 5 and put that in the chat. What is that number? So right now what I'm doing, this is a really important piece. I teach this in my main program, but what I'm teaching you right now is is going 5 years into the future. If this problem continues to fester, this is the current reality that's actually inevitable. That's going to happen. So with you guys, ladies, is stopping and pausing and saying, "Hey, for a moment, I want to go I want to do something." If these pleasurable pain points continue, like what does it look like 1 year out for you? What is life like? If nothing changes, if you want to say that. Great, let's go 3 years out. What's it like? What's it like to be in your shoes? Use those language. What's it like to be in what happens with your life? Okay, let's go out 5 years out. How much money is no longer in your bank account? Because you've stayed, everything's been in the same place. Because you refused to make a decision to bet on yourself and you kept looking around and talking to 16 different companies. Oh, that's not going to change. Well, I hear you, but let's talk about what's the current reality. What's actually arguably going to happen based on past behavior in the next 5 years. Right? And then I'll even go into the future. Okay, let's pretend right now it's January 2031. We're 5 years out. This is the future, selling the future. And let's go 5 years out. We're having this conversation right now. We're here, we're sitting here. Like you decided to call me. Like nothing has changed. Right? You didn't make any new decision. You didn't bet on yourself. You didn't invest in anything to actually get you where you wanted to go. Not with me. It's all about, like, we're just having this conversation. It's 2026. What opportunity cost has been lost? What's life like right now for you? Right? How much money is no longer not in your bank account that could have been if you decided to pull the trigger on something 5 years ago? So you go really deep in future pace that. Again, this is where we stack selling the feelings in the future and the urgency of the cost. Some of y'all right now are like, what the fuck? This guy is just ripping it apart with all this shit. I'm kind of hitting every level with Daniel. But you also can use this to paint the cost and go into the future. Okay? If you just do this alone, you will make more sales because you pause and you just go into the future. And if you're really certain about how to do it, and maybe you're a coach or you've learned some of this before, go immediately into the future. And say the date, today's date is, just like, what? They're like, what? You get them out of their mind, like you hypnotize them in the moment. And you just like, no, you're so certain about the date. What's the weather like? Oh, it's cold. Okay, cool. Like, and you ask them, what's today's date? It's a future pacing. It's amazing. It's not a tactic. I actually want them to feel the consequence, not think the consequence of not acting. How many of this is kind of cool? Like it's helpful in some way? Okay, cool. Good. And we're going to do it right now. So 5 years out, right? This is the reality. This is how much money is robbed out of the bank account. Fuck. Now here's why I say this. This is what is costing you to not what? Put in the chat. To not what? To not what for you? To not what? To not what? And by the way, you want to let them tell you the answer on a call. Don't tell them. You're not a dictator. It's a collaborative conversation. Remember that? Yeah, let them come to their own conclusion because then they can lead themselves to the future. If I tell them everything, then I'm leading them versus them leading themselves. Make decisions differently. And for some of you, yeah. So I'm going to share with you here the things, in order to cross this gap to get what you all want. Okay, in my experience, there are 7 to 8 different things to actually allow you to never not have that number. I'm going to tell you the exact things that are required from my experience working with thousands of closers, salespeople, leaders, that crushes that gap immediately. So like, inarguably, they will have that outcome no matter what. Can I share them with you guys? Leaving you with this. Okay, cool. The 1%, this is the 1%. But now you know these things. This is what's required to cross the gap. All right, number one is to hit that number you want, and even greater than that, right? Even 50, 100K months, because there's versions of you that are that actually are making that much money, right? If you don't think that, you have a limit, right? But there's a version of all of you making $100,000 a month. Totally. Here's number one. The people that I work with, in my experience and myself, that are the top 1%, the true top 1%, number one, write this down, is that they create nervous system trust before they ever sell. Okay? We've kind of landed this today, but I'm giving you sell from nervous system safety. This is what they do. The ones that always make more, and how we can crush that gap for you is is they create nervous system trust. Not trust Trinity trust, nervous system trust. I know Eli very well. Him and I are really good friends. He's got the trust Trinity. But nervous system trust. Breathe, regulate, nervous system trust. Yeah. So prospects don't buy logic. They buy safety. Not many people ever talk about that. I've actually never heard it. I say it. They buy safety. They don't buy trust. They buy safety. 1% closers make the prospects feel safe. And that's when they feel like buying. Okay, number two is the true top, cream of the crop top, right? They love rejection. Number one reason why I see people struggle to hit 5 to 10, 15K months is because they think rejection is bad or wrong, or it's like fuck, or they're even afraid to admit they're afraid of rejection. It is number one cause of up and down commission months, because fear of rejection is wrong or bad. But rejection is simply doesn't have to threaten your identity, right? No, a no from a prospect doesn't mean I'm not good enough. Right? Think about it. Doesn't need to actually like change who I am and my identity. Because as I think about it, objection, right? Does not mean I'm like a horrible person. It's if you don't know the meaning you're making of it because you don't know you, and you don't love rejection, you don't fall in love with it, then you look at it as wrong or bad, and it fucking becomes a monster. Loving rejection, meaning looking at it as feedback, calibration, and sharpening, and where I get to grow. And who can I work with to help support me to grow, to see what I can't see? Okay, number three is they condition their mindset, right? Not to like change your mindset, but condition it. Because 80% of commissions are internal. And so they train their mind like they train sales, to the point where it's who they become. Literally, you're changing identity every day because of the conditioning. If you all looked at YouTube videos of me even 3 years ago, it's laughable. It's like, oh man, I love that part of me, that version of me. But as I kept continuing to train my mind, right, all of a sudden, everything just got easier. Train my mind to what I want, not what I don't want. I'm in self-doubt. I train my mind to be confident, to go where I want to go. Okay. Number four is the top 1%, right? They don't allow limitations to run them and operate them. Limitations are the shadows, the parts of them that they're unaware is controlling them. They operate from vision. Every day. What I want. Vision. And so because they operate from vision, it's easy to actually show up with the prospect to ask, what's the vision? What do you want? What's your vision? What do you want? Because they're operating from pure vision. What do you want? Why do you want that? What happens when you get that? What's the vision look like 12 months out? It becomes easy because they're operating from that, and they're operating vision-driven, not limitation-driven. Okay. The next one, they have emotional control under pressure. How many of y'all struggle a little bit sometimes with like, you go on like a rut for 3 or 4 days where there's no sales and like you get like, you beat yourself up and you get a little bit of rut. You're like, you literally beat yourself like, what the fuck? Should I even be in high ticket sales? Or the mind goes to like, is something wrong with me? Why? Like you start comparing yourself. This is a real thing, isn't it? This creates the spiral of the rut. And it's because the ones that get out of it fast, they have emotional control under pressure, right? And that's what's possible for all of you, is emotional control under pressure, where you are resilient and the next sale is a piff versus a doubt conversation because of who you be. The next one is they operate from a 2.0 operating system and objections dissolve because of who they are. And they never get objections. They don't argue, they don't convince, they don't over-explain. They lead clearly. And it becomes fewer think about it, less resistance, because you're evoking what you want them to feel and experience, because your operating system is at the same level of the operating system because of the being operating system versus like the having operating system. Okay, number 7, they lead themselves first. Just like I talked about today. What? You lead you first, self-regulate, and then the prospect. They lead themselves first. They don't wait for permission. They lead themselves first. They operate from trust, from passion, and first impression, like people feel that. So I gave you guys a pre-power protocol, right? You messaged me if you didn't get it. I will send it to you later. You understand you first, then the prospect, but like they're embodied at a very deep level because they trust themselves and the prospect trusts them. The next one, this is a big one, is they live in congruence and integrity. They live in integrity. And what is integrity? Integrity is their words match their actions. And their actions match their commitments. And their commitments match who they say that they are. So when it comes to identity, all identity is who I believe myself to be. That's it. Anything after the words I am is who you are. And what you speak out loud is where reveals where you are in your own evolution of growth. And what happens is when you are not being your word, you lose trust with yourself immediately. When you don't do what you say you're going to do, right? Your intentions, what you want, and your commitments to move that forward, right, are not aligned with your actions. It's the fastest way to staying at $5,000 a month forever. So I just enrolled someone in my program this morning, and literally I'm like, what would be the number one outcome you want to create in the next 90 days? And it had nothing to do with sales. It was being a man that lived in integrity with himself. I was like, okay, well, we can do that like in a week. Checked, box checked. What else do you want? Right? Because when you can get back in integrity and learn a way to be in integrity with yourself very quickly. Okay, what else do you want? Oh, I want to more discipline and actually go to the gym consistently. Got it. So you don't want to make more money in sales? He's like, I do, but like this is what I really want. I'm like, oh, okay. Check. We'll do that in a week too. Okay, cool. We'll get that consistency. Good. Easy. What else do you want? Right? So it's about living in congruency of what do you want? What's the commitment and what's the action? And most of the time it requires you asking for help. This is the next one. This is the biggest leverage point. By the way, I call these all leverage points as well. That if you have all these leverage points in your arsenal, like all of you right now had these leverage points, you would all be hitting 100K months. Guarantee it. All of you. It's inarguable if you're operating in these ones. This next one is investment in coaching on your blind spots. The fastest path to what you want is getting coaching on what you can't see. Fuck. I can't tell you how many times I will hire one coach for like an hour. And like one story I'll tell you. 2018, I started working with, anyone know Garrett White, Wake Up Warrior? Garrett White? Some of you guys know him. Okay. So I was one of his biggest case studies. I came in his program in 2016 when he started. Did all his programs, went all his masterminds, blah, blah, blah. Warrior Week, did everything. And I remember I hired one of his coaches to coach me for one session. I couldn't even afford $1,000, but I'm like, fuck it, and I did it. And it was 2017 when I was getting out of like the food addiction that I was in, the bulimia, and I was getting my power back as a man. And I remember I was afraid to go to the gym, like a hard workout. But my story that I learned with him in that one session was this. We uncovered it, is that I'm actually afraid to lose weight and keep it off. I'm afraid to lose weight and keep it off. Driven from like this behavior of like, I'm unworthy of a man to lose weight and keep it off. So I hired him for that session, and it woke this story up that I had no idea was actually causing me to go up and down in weight and to drive me to go up and down in weight again. So we broke through that story, and I made a commitment, a big, bold commitment to do something scary, to actually love myself at the deepest level of my body. I hired a nutrition coach, and I went to CrossFit. And it was the scariest thing because I didn't think I was worthy of being the type of person that could actually go to an intense workout. I was afraid to be seen and judged. And I'd built a whole career on fitness and had multiple gyms. And I was the guy that like had to tell everyone what to do, but I didn't want to do it myself. I was so afraid. I broke through that story, and in that one session changed my life. I went to CrossFit this morning. I've been going for like 8 years, 10 years now, because I'm a type of man that's worthy of actually losing weight, keeping it off, and being seen overweight, as I was overweight, and being seen losing weight. And it validated like I'm okay being seen overweight and struggling and being vulnerable. So I had gotten that one coach and multiple other coaches to actually get where I wanted to go faster. The fastest way to not get what you want is to actually think you know the path. The path is always revealed in your blind spots. And if you can't see your own blind spots, it gets muddy and it slows you down and it becomes shadows and limitations. And it's very difficult moving forward. So just like Daniel said, what's required to get what you want, the fastest path is removing the blind spots. Coaching is the path to do that. So I say all this. Why? Because I want to offer you guys something. Bexy, before I offer you something, what the fuck's happening in your guys' brains right now? Christian, what's happening in your brain right now? Talk to me.
I'm just feeling really grateful, I think, for this call and the team. A lot of things I'm realizing, I think, that I didn't see before. A lot of, I guess, breakthroughs for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just feel like this conversation was like much needed for me to really see things at a different perspective. It's
yes,
changing the game for me. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Love to hear that. So I want to offer you, can I offer you guys something? Like a gift, like this stupid gift that I think is going to be life-changing for all of you for the next 7 days. Can I offer something, guys, for you guys? 7 days? Yes? Okay. You sure? All right. It won't take like 3 minutes. So I thought about it. I'm like, okay, what can I do for Daniel and his crew to optimize them as a man or a woman and make a lot more sales in 7 days? So I thought, okay, what if I coached everybody for 7 days, right? Gave them the one-on-one session with me in 7 days. And what if I invited them to my training? I do 3 hours a week of this and the sales even deeper. And also, what if I gave them access to what I call my $25 million vaults, where I have the same internal vaults and the same external vaults that made me $100,000 a month in commissions? What if I just give them full access to all of it? And they can go in there and leverage it and make a shit ton more money. I did it once in the past. I'm not kidding you, once. And people made thousands of more dollars, but they also upgraded who they were very quickly. This is what I call the sales savage system. Okay, I built out a whole back end of it, and I want to give it to all of you. So how many of you would be interested if I gave it to you? Okay, you're probably like, well, how much does it cost? Well, it's $500, but I'm going to give it to you all for $100. Okay, I have a discount code for $400 off. And I only truly can work with 5 people because it's not a course, it's an experience. I'm working with you one-on-one. I'm coaching you personally for 7 days, literally 7 days for $100. And you get access. We got to book one-on-one. My schedule's very busy. So who here, just raise your hand if you are interested. Okay. All right. So we got a little more than 5 people. We could possibly make some room. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop a link, and I also got permission from Daniel, so he was cool with this.